of corruption. But the federal government is asking that comments and opinions on the matter should be devoid of sentiments. Now, turning to security issues, 5 people are reported dead in a bomb explosion in Maiduguri. Still on crime and criminality, federal legislators want a state of emergency on kidnapping. Elsewhere, a new app is being launched to link young farmers with prospective buyers of products. Plus, countdown to the coronation of the new Benin monarch. That's a bit of our outlook on News Extra tonight. Indeed, it's a pleasure to have you join us. Now, let's begin with the arrest of some judges. The federal government has appealed to Nigerians to take the path of honor by not allowing emotions and sentiments becloud their sense of patriotism in respect of the recent operations aimed at sanitizing the judiciary. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who made the appeal while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council meeting, maintained that the judiciary is not under attack, but corruption as one of the fundamental problem of the country. State House correspondent Adam Musambe reports that the council approved several memoranda aimed at enhancing the country's power, transport and aviation sector.
President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the council's meeting, which lasted over 3 hours. Amongst the memoranda that scaled through includes the one seeking the completion of the 10 megawatts wind farm project in Katsina State, which was abandoned for long due to the kidnap and subsequent release of the contractor's engineer. As a result, some of the equipment had gone bad and therefore the cost escalation of the project.
It's a very strategic project in fulfillment, first of our renewable energy, also of our roadmap for incremental power, and Council has graciously granted approval for that project.
Also approved is the completion of the Federal Secretariat projects in Anambra, Bayelsa, Gombe, Nasarawa, Oshun and Zamfara states at a variation cost of 700 million naira.
So this is in pursuit also of giving boost to the economy by stimulating spending in infrastructure.
And following a memo from the Ministry of Transportation, an outline business case for the development of the Maiduguri Industrial Port in Lagos was approved by the federal government. So also the relocation of the Flight Training 737 simulator from Lagos to the Nigeria College of Aviation Technology, Zaria.
This setting of simulator there will enhance training and will go from basic training to multi-crew pilot license training within the area, so that once the kids are out of school in Zaria, they are ready for the jet market that is available within the country.
Meanwhile, on the recent arrest of judges by the Department of State Services, Information Minister Lai Mohammed said it is not in any way targeted at the nation's judiciary, but clearly an attack on corruption as the bane of Nigeria's socio-economic development.
Please do not confuse the fight against corruption as a fight against judiciary. No, absolutely not. In the process of fighting corruption, it's not unusual that you step on some very sensitive toes. Do judges have immunity? The answer is no. Can judges be arrested? The answer is yes. Have judges and serving judges been arrested in Nigeria? The answer is yes. Justice Ikomi was arrested and tried. Magistrate Fugaji was arrested, tried, and convicted. Now, the next question to ask is that what is the proper procedure for arresting anybody or especially judges? There must be properly executed search warrant. Was such presented? The answer again is yes. People have tried to model the fact about when do you search, a person's house. The truth of the matter is that under the new criminal justice law, you can search anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Alhaji Lai Mohammed said the fight against corruption will continue to be executed within the ambit of the law, as was the case with those affected in the judiciary, and called on Nigerians to key in.
This government has the highest respect for judiciary, absolutely. 2, We are not in any way trying to ridicule the judiciary at all. 3, we are not painting the whole of the judges with the same brush. But we also have a duty to fight corruption at whatever level.
It is a fact that this kind of surgical operations in the judiciary has never happened in Nigeria. But as many will say, there is always the first time. As records show that last year alone, even in Ghana, a sister African country, 22 out of 32 judges were dismissed in one day for corruption-related offenses. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The need for reforms and holistic approach to judicial system have been identified as the ingredient for an independent and corrupt-free judiciary in Nigeria. These were some of the views of guests on NTA's current affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
Arrest of some judges and justices by the DSS over alleged corrupt allegations continue to dominate discourse on the public domain, while different groups and individuals have expressed their positions on the development. Discussants on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria describe it as unfortunate, as it does not only affect the personality of those who are involved, but the entire judiciary.
In the light of this, the constitution should be amended to allow judges to be able to return to practice.
Whatever I do to a judge now will affect the sanctity of the judicial system. Even the sitting judges, it will affect their confidence.
Once the public loses confidence in that supposedly last hope of the common man, there's nothing left.
In the quest for sanity and corrupt-free society, the guests say the judiciary should also make efforts to check corruption within the system.
It's good that the NJC is strengthened, there's reform, but they don't also have investigative powers, except they have to draft in detectives from the police and the SSS.
The human rights of the people, of the resources of the people that are being carted away, not just by judges alone.
The guests say supremacy of the judiciary as the third arm of the government needs to be entrenched to uphold internal mechanism as viable option to providing holistic approach in all matters. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And still more reactions on the crackdown on some judges for alleged corrupt practices. Some commentators say the development might be new in Nigeria, but not new elsewhere across the globe. Muhammad Abubakar reports.
Some days ago, operatives of the Department of State Service in a coordinated operation raided the residences of some allegedly corrupt judges in some selected states in Nigeria and Abuja. How do Nigerians view such a development?
Corruption against any Nigerian must be investigated. You just don't separate anybody. What is important is the weight of the office. So as far as humanly possible, limit your accusation and whatnot to the people accused and wait for the proof. Whoever could not be have something proved against him, then he is safe. But it does not matter who you are. Once you commit a very serious crime, it should be investigated.
Before this incident happened, general impression is that judges are immune from prosecution, are immune from the application of ordinary laws.
There was a time in United States of America where the state of Philadelphia arrested 9 judges in connection with corruption. Closer home, in Ghana here, a few months back, about 30 judges were arrested, also for acts of corruption.
What is happening in Nigeria today is not about party, it's about human beings.
Corruption is abhorred by everybody, and in Nigeria particularly, it has done so much damage to our country, to our institution, and to us as Nigerians. And because of that, it's a collective fight.
In Kaduna, Muhammad Abubakar, NTA News.
The judiciary has been described as the last hope of a common man as a way of ensuring justice in a society, thereby bringing about maintenance of law and order. However, where the officers of the Temple of Justice are corrupt, the hope of a common man is dashed. Against the recent arrest of certain judges and justices, Dele Atumbi takes us on a perspective drive.
Nigeria operates a presidential system of government with 3 arms, where the executive implements the law, the legislature makes the law, and the judiciary interprets it. The interpretation of the law is key to the maintenance of law and order in the society. Hence, the hope of the common man is hinged on the law as it is to get justice rather than the law as it ought to be. However, when the scale is tilted to tilt in favor of the unjust, where lies the hope of the common man? Taking a look at the law as it is, are judicial officers immune from being arrested and prosecuted?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing unusual in arresting judges.
Judges can be arrested. That's why you see the case of Ikomi. There is one Bender State High Court that was alleged to have killed his oddly then. He was arrested.
Any conversation that is centered on the propriety of arrest, for me, is simplifying the matter.
There's no one that is above the law. Even those that have immunity know that they can be investigated.
Another issue that must be cleared is, does the Department of State Services have the power to effect arrest of alleged corrupt judicial officers as it was done in other jurisdictions?
The State Security Service was established. 3 main reasons: core mandates, prevention and detection of crime against internal security of Nigeria, protection of non-classified military matters, and lastly, any other assignment given by the President or the National Assembly.
Investigation reveals that the arrest of judicial officers have been carried out even in advanced democracies like the United States of America. In Africa, corrupt judicial officers were arrested in Ghana in order to reform the judiciary. Available records show that twice the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI), an equivalent of the DSS in Nigeria, had carried out arrests of judges in America to weed out bad eggs in the judiciary. As a way of making the judiciary to live above board, some legal practitioners advocated reform of the National Judicial Council to be able to take up criminal charges preferred against judges.
Cleanse the stable of the bad eggs.
We need to have incorruptible judges that are upright, in and out, to survey the country.
It must be taken to see that it is done according to due process.
Opinions may be divided on the issue of arrests of judges and justices which had happened in other jurisdictions and climes. However, opinions are same on the fact that a corrupt judiciary will lead to travesty of justice in the Alo Temple of Justice. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
All right, now away from that to other matters. President Muhammadu Buhari will embark on an official visit to the Federal Republic of Germany from October 13th to 15th. 2016. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says in Berlin, President Muhammadu Buhari will confer with Federal Chancellor Angela Merkel on issues of shared interest between Nigeria and Germany, including further cooperation on security, the humanitarian situation of internally displaced persons, IDPs, and rehabilitation of the Northeast, as well as trade and economic relations between both countries. President Buhari will participate in a business forum with leading German companies already active in Nigeria and other prospective investors. The president, who will be accompanied by Governor Kashim Shettima of Borno State and Rochas of Korocha of Imo State and representatives of the National Assembly, will also meet with Federal President Joachim Gauck. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Nigerian Political Parties Debate Commission has killed second reading in the Senate's plenary on Wednesday. If concluded and passed, the bill will give legislative backing to the commission to organize and conduct debates for all candidates cleared by the Nigerian electoral body. Waziri Zayanu has details of these and other proceedings from the Senate.
In the bill, Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari noted that what Nigeria has at this nascent state of democracy is not an electoral debate, but efforts in futility in which participants find pleasure in boycotting it at will.
It will create a sea change in the way Nigerians see power. It will offer Nigeria a chance to evaluate candidates so they can vote along policy or ideological lines.
In a related development, Senator Dino Melaye presented for second reading a bill for an act for the regulation and registration of lobbyists in Nigeria.
The bill, when passed, Mr. President, my colleagues, will one, create sticker registration requirement for lobbyists, require lobbyists to disclose how much they make and spend on lobbying.
It is cheaper to hire a lobbyist to convince a northerner about the need for funds for the Niger Delta than to blow up pipelines and to kill anyone.
Another bill that passed second reading is that of an act to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act and for other related matters.
The arbitrariness that is being perpetrated by the trial judges by not following the provisions of the NDLA Act clearly can lead to corrupt practices.
The Senate observed a 1-minute silence in honor of the late former Inspector General of Police, Etim Inyang.
Former Inspector General of Police, who passed on 26th of September 2016 after a brief illness at the ripe age of 85 years.
A total of 5 bills went through first reading and another 10 scaled through the second reading, with each of the bills being sent to appropriate committees for necessary legislative action. Outside plenary, the Senate President has inaugurated the ad hoc committee on mounting humanitarian crisis in the Northeast.
We're talking about lives of over 400,000 children, and we're talking about malnutrition for over 4.5 million people. Distinguished colleagues, this matter deserves a level of seriousness.
It is very alarming that the United Nations Humanitarian Country Coordination Team has put Nigeria at level 3, being the highest level of humanitarian emergency in the world.
From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayanu, NTA News.
Borno State Police Command says 5 people were killed on Wednesday morning bomb blast in Maiduguri. Correspondent Maimuna Garuba reports that the bomb was detonated in a taxi along the Maiduguri-Gambari-Ngala Road.
The blast occurred near Muna Garage, close to a checkpoint where the military conducts stop and search on vehicles traveling to Gambari town. This came at a time when Maiduguri residents are enjoying relative peace. It is the first bomb blast in more than 2 months. The police public relations officer, Borno State Command, DSP Victor Isoku, said the taxi golf vehicle was carrying 4 female passengers and the driver, when the bomb, suspected to be strapped on one of the passengers, detonated, killing all the occupants.
We reasonably believe that passenger that was picked along the road was the suicide bomber. Our bomb disposal unit quickly secured the environment and to make sure there are no other secondary explosions.
The explosion also affected other vehicles near the ill-fated golf taxi, and as people ran for safety, some sustained injuries. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Following President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to set up a naval outpost on the Lake Chad, the Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Ite Abbas has visited Baga town in Borno State for an on-the-spot assessment of a site proposed for the naval base. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports that the Chief of Naval Staff also took out time to interact with some stakeholders in relation to peace in the Northeast.
This is the first time a serving Chief of Naval Staff is visiting the Northeast. Though the Nigerian Navy Special Forces are part of the Operation Lafayette Dole onslaught against Boko Haram terrorists, the Chief of Naval Staff's visit signals a new dimension to the operations as it spreads to the Lake Chad Basin, with Baga Town playing host to the Nigerian Navy as a base. Addressing his officers and men, the Chief assured them of adequate provision of logistics to carry out their duties. Vice Admiral Ibokite Abbas, however, enumerated some challenges that could delay the base establishment.
Even where we have considered appropriate for the naval base to be established, we will need access road as a very major and first priority. We will need electricity. Of course, you are aware all the telecommunication facilities there have been brought down. We'll also need that to be able to settle down fast.
The Chief of Naval Staff had earlier visited the headquarters of Theatre Command, Operation Lafayette Dole, where he held a closed-door session with the Theatre Commander, Major General Lucky Rabo. At the Government House, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Alhaji Usman Mamandokwa, expressed optimism that the presence of the Navy at the Lake Chad will revive economic activities in the region.
I also use this auspicious visit to appeal to the federal government to fully resume oil exploration in the Lake Chad Basin, which was stopped due to insurgency but due to the insecurity in Nigeria.
The Shehu of Borno, Alhaji Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbey El Kanemi, described the coming of the Navy to the northeast as a complete movement of the nation's armed forces to the theater of war, one which he said will further boost the fight against insurgency, noting that most of the terrorists were not Nigerians, but citizens of neighboring African countries who came in illegally through the land and sea borders. Some newly promoted Navy Special Forces personnel in Operation Lafia Dole were decorated by the Chief of Naval Administration, Rear Admiral Henry Babalola. From Maiduguri, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
In an overwhelming accepted motion, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to declare a state of emergency on kidnapping in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports the members expressed fear over its effect on Nigeria's tourism sector.
Worried by the security threats currently posed by increasing cases of kidnapping, House members observed that only a drastic measure can check the crime. The motion was moved by Representative Babatunde Kolawole from Ondo State.
And some countries issue constant travel warnings to their citizens about Nigeria.
Middle class, every day they are being kidnapped. Farmers, women, children.
And even on the road to the farm, they are kidnapped and they ask their family to bring 20,000 naira. It is that bad. Nobody knows who is the next victim. When we ought to take care of this issue, before now we fail to do it.
The motion on the need to expand Nigeria's railway network to cover Taraba and Adamawa states, moved by Representative Sadiq Ibrahim from Adamawa State, was equally adopted.
Urge the federal government through the Ministry of Transportation, the Ministry of Finance, and the Nigeria Railway Corporation to ensure that the cost of implementing the proposed extension be captured in the 2017 proposed budget.
Members urged the federal government to commence electronic animal identification system which seeks to minimize cattle rustling, as moved by Representative Isa Ali from Gombe State.
Cognizant that it is imperative for the government to devise modern means to fight the menace, one of which is the introduction of the electronic animal identification system.
Disease control and identification of outbreak of diseases. So this motion is not out of place, it's already in practice.
It is easy for law enforcement agencies to use their gadgets in knowing where this cattle is at any given time.
The House once again witnessed the passage of a high number of bills at first reading in one sitting, and that is a total of 26 bills, and one of those bills is a bill for an act to establish the office of the Surgeon General of the Federation. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Justice has commenced public hearing on 4 bills. One of them is a bill seeking to protect persons who disclose information relating to crime, corruption, and unlawful acts to security agencies.
Touches upon the protection of citizens' rights, the Data Protection Bill, and the Public Interest Disclosure Bill.
Data protection is in the forefront of the agendas of many countries worldwide.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara is the sponsor of 2 of the bills. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the increased rate of kidnapping in recent times, crime experts say, can be tackled from all fronts, especially with intensified security and stiffer punishment for those found culpable. Talato Ezerike reports that this was part of submissions on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live.
Nigeria, like many nations, is faced with the challenges of kidnapping and hostage taking. Many say all the vices like armed robbery are the aftermath of the civil war, which are fast becoming the order of the day, with painful tales and infringement even in rural communities. The development that has given rise to questions whether the nation is under police to curb crimes or what has happened to joint military patrol and how well are human and technology applied in tackling the issue of kidnapping.
I will want to see an immediate deployment of at every 5 kilometers of ready armed policing, cut off their supply lines, and also to protect those communities that will give us information.
If we occupy the space, having identified areas that are prone or that are
ready-made for these kidnappers.
All right.
Then there are likely possibility of them not finding it easy to come and perpetrate their crime, and also trying to restore back this family value system.
How many people, after going through the horrors of kidnap, who want to appear before the court? 90% of the cases we charge to court, witnesses don't come up. So at the end of the day, the kidnapper is found on the street, probably with one technical word or the other. In advanced countries, you have the parole system. Once you are thrown there, you can't come out in the next 25, 30 years.
For others, the society and especially custodians of morals cannot be exonerated of the blame, particularly against the background of cherished values of family name.
And how this government will do this, to lay the groundwork so that in 10 years, this problem does not get exacerbated. In 20 years, we don't become another Mexico.
There must be something we instill in our own children, whether we like it or not, to tell them that patience is a value. Hard work is a value.
Analysts strongly believe that kidnapping is alien to the nation's ethical values that should be addressed through the entrenchment of right reward system, good leadership, and role models, as well as shunning the get-rich-quick syndrome. Talati Ezewike, NTA News.
Former Chief of Defence Staff Air Chief Marshal Oluseyin Betiri has urged Nigerians to partner with the government in providing holistic solution to the problems of the Niger Delta and cattle rustling in the north. Muhammad Lawal Baba reports.
Chief Marshal Betiri said the challenges confronting the country needs concerted effort from all citizenry. He applauded the courage and resounding successes brought about by the renewed vigor of the Nigerian Air Force in ensuring peace and stability in various theaters of operations, especially the insurgency in the northeast and criminality in other parts of the country.
It is pertinent also to avail myself of this opportunity to enjoin all people of Nigeria to partner with the government in providing holistic solutions to the problems of the Niger Delta, as well as cattle rustling in the northern part.
Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar affirmed that as high performance is demanded, necessary tools and enabling environment must be provided in accordance with international best practices.
What we're doing is making the best out of what is available to the best of our abilities. Ordinarily, we should probably have more than what we are having, but because of the economic situation, we can't really have it to that standard. So what we are left with is to make the best out of what is available.
Ground Training Center Headquarters Complex, Instructor Quarters, 3 blocks of renovated airmen quarters, and 2 blocks of student pilots hostel of 10 rooms, among others. Away from the inauguration, the Chief of Air Staff was also at Shooting Range. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Here's just a reminder that you can watch this news on the go live via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store, at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And up ahead, prospective buyers of farm produce now have a reliable technology-driven link with young farmers. We'll bring you details in just a moment.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
Once in a generation, a technology emerges that transforms a nation. Glo's new 4G network is exactly that. It is by far the fastest mobile internet in Nigeria and the first with nationwide coverage. Government institutions and big business will have the tools they need to build the powerhouse of Africa. Small business will be enabled to make the big leap. Medical procedures will be more advanced, and your home will become truly smart with our most extensive national optic fiber network linked seamlessly to Glo One submarine cable. It is data speed and capacity beyond imagination. 4G will accelerate Nigeria's progress into the Super League, and everyone will see their lives change beyond recognition. The wait is over. Welcome to 4G LTE from Glo. Welcome to the new speed of life.
Why do moms play? Why do moms play the roles they play? The roles they play. Everything works out easy when she shows us the better way. Don't you wish your mommy was fine like mine? Don't you wish your mommy was smart like mine? Don't you?
3 Crowns milk is low in cholesterol, great tasting, and filled with essential vitamins to help moms stay fit in every moment.
3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
The family of Okon has been taken hostage by an evil-looking creature.
The thing just show for night. Yeah, big, where?
Come in. Oh, my sister, I was there what was happening in the news. We must suddenly brought back your family.
You think you can freeze them? No way!
When Amatem fought appear, malaria run for cover. Amatem. Thank you. Amatem fought against some gel capsules, tablets for adults, and suspension for Pekin. Amatem does not eat somebody and are very easy to use. Ayua, remember how Amatem fought against scratch pin to confirm the original and against some gel capsules. Amatem. Say no to malaria, yes to life.
Goodness is getting better. Introducing new exciting packs from Hollandia Yogurt. Goodness just got better. Hollandia Yogurt. It's all good.
From the House of Chi.
Goodness is getting better. Introducing new exciting packs from Hollandia Yogurt. Goodness just got better. Hollandia Yogurt. It's all good.
From the House of Chi.
To send and receive money across Africa in a flash, use Rapid Transfer today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Introducing the new look of refreshment. The new, happier, friendlier packs of Happy Hour by Chivita. Packed with bold bursts of fun and refreshment. Happy Hour by Chivita. Happier bursts of refreshment. Introducing the new look of refreshment. The new, happier, friendlier packs of Happy Hour by Chivita. Packed with bold bursts of fun and refreshment. Happy Hour by Chivita. Happier bursts of refreshment.
Bayes University Abuja offers world-class education, uninterrupted academic session, and promising degrees for a sustainable job. Bayes University Abuja is affordable and delivers quality with experienced international staff, superb facilities, overseas external examiners, and a serene academic atmosphere. We offer quality and affordable education, and students are within easy reach of their parents here at Bayes University Abuja. So learn to live at Bayes University for a brighter future. For more information, visit our website at www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng or call 081 3376 9657 or 081 3376 9658. Bayes University Abuja. Learn to live.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's News Extra on the NTA. Two major fallouts of the 170th Ordinary Meeting of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries in Algiers, both on mobilizing non-OPEC producers to adopt a freeze on production for price stability as well as modalities for the implementation of the OPEC consensus amongst members. The next report by energy correspondent Hawa Saliu Adama examines the latest plans to achieve this objective and Nigeria's position.
Immediately after the Algiers meeting, now known as the Algiers Accord, the international price of crude experienced a 7% increase. After indications by Russia, a major producer, to support OPEC's decision, oil price hit a one-year high at $53 early this week. In furtherance of the consensus-building effort, some OPEC and non-OPEC producing nations comprising Algeria, Qatar, Venezuela, United Arab Emirates, Azerbaijan, Gabon, Russia, Mexico and the OPEC Secretary General Dr. Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo met in Istanbul, Turkey, on the sidelines of the International Energy Congress in marching equivalency in courts. So, how is Nigeria taking advantage of the waiver granted it, Libya and Iran by the Algiers Accord?
Today we are about 1.7, so that is good. And if Forcados comes back by the end of the month, like we forecast it should, then we're back to an additional 350,000 barrels. So, like I said, it takes you over the 2 million barrel hump. We're going to be looking at efficiencies in some of the products to see how we can recover back the remaining 200,000 barrels.
With reports indicating that investments in the oil industry shrank more than 26% in 2015 and are projected to drop another 22% in 2016, getting back investments, producing for local refining, and driving down the cost of production are major priorities for Nigeria, according to Minister Kachiku.
The projection that I had initially was to see how we can produce enough for our local refining outside the volumes that we need to export, which means that if you're going to do that, you're probably looking at where do you find 350 to 400,000 barrels over and above your 2.2. And that's probably one of the things you see in our roadmaps as we look at 2017.
The meeting between OPEC and non-OPEC producers in Istanbul, Turkey, will determine how fast the oil market returns to balance. Maybe better price for the crude and increased revenues to exporting countries. But for many in Nigeria, it is putting an end to a situation whereby only 7 million out of the 35 million litre national daily consumption is refined locally. In Abuja, I'm Hawa Salihu Adama, NTA News.
The National Directorate of Employment has launched a smart farmer application to help tackle the menace of unemployment in Nigeria. The app is designed to link young farmers with their prospective buyers through the provision of reliable information on products, markets and new technologies. Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro tells us more about it.
Efforts have been made to reposition agriculture as a major foreign exchange earner for Nigeria, without sufficiently encouraging young Nigerians to see agriculture as a viable business. Unveiling the app, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Dr. Clement Ilu, on behalf of the minister said the initiative is part of the quick win interventions of the present administration to boost employment generation.
Through the Smart Farmer application, the NDE will be injecting about 490,000 new jobs into the economy in the next 3 years.
Now that the Smart Farmer application has been launched, the federal government is trying to make agriculture more attractive to the unemployed by creating an ICT platform for information sharing on agro businesses.
That Nigeria has no option than to maximize the massive agricultural potentials across the length and breadth of this naturally endowed nation.
The initiative is a collaboration of the NDE and other partners.
It's very important that we take this program to these youth directly, because we can all sit here and take in all the information, but we're not sending it out to where it's supposed to be channeled.
On the other hand, NDE is encouraging local entrepreneurs to begin production of goods on the import prohibition list, as is set to launch 2 enterprises soon.
The NDE has concluded plans to commission 2 new small-scale businesses that will produce pencils and toothpicks locally. At the moment, every pencil and toothpick used in this country is imported.
Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Now, Chairman, Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Aliyu Wamako, says the National Assembly will reenact laws to ensure that education is given its rightful place. He stated this during the committee's oversight visit to the Liberian Registration Council of Nigeria and the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Izumba reports.
The visit is to appraise the activities of the agencies in terms of achievements and challenges. At the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education,
paucity of funds, both overhead and capital, because for us to achieve our mandate, finance is very important.
At the Liberian Registration Council of Nigeria, the registrar, Professor Michael Afolabi, said they have continued to push the boundaries of librarianship by successfully crafting instruments needed to regulate the sector.
Collaborated with International Research and Exchange Board, IREX, to organize training programs for librarians in public libraries. This is a pilot program to provide evidence on the contribution of libraries to national development.
Just we visited. They seem to be doing very well, even though I made not without some challenges. Common challenge, the terminal release of funds.
The committee chairman, while urging the management of Library Registration Council to forward areas they need amended, also told them to provide details of their IGR expenditure. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
Plateau State Government has paid the sum of 1 billion naira as counterpart funding to UBEC to revamp the state's educational sector. Governor Solomon Lalong said this while declaring open the 16th quarterly management meeting of the Universal Basic Education Commission with Executive Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board. Paul Dama reports.
Meeting of the management of Universal Basic Education Board with Executive Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Boards seeks to review levels of implementation and compliance with strategic policies, programs and actions to ensure the delivery of basic education in line with universal best practice. Governor Simon Lalong noted that the country has sound educational policies, sufficient human capital resources, and the financial capacity to deliver quality education. But what has remained elusive over the years is lack of strategic planning and integration of these resources to address challenges in the sector.
The opportunity for purposefully pursuing sustainable development goal, which has set a deadline of 2030 for inclusive and equitable quality education for all.
Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Anuka, urged the forum to address the issue of accumulated unaccessed funds with UBEC to ensure the delivery of qualitative basic education.
Is not only an education development stage, but it's fast becoming a very player in the basic education sector.
In Jos, Paul Dama, NTA News.
In continuation of the series of the coronation of the Oba of Benin, one item that will dominate the space as the new monarch prepares for the throne is the coral bead, a corn part of the rich Benin culture. Ogochukwu Honor reports that the coral bead, apart from portraying royalty, signifies power and a sign of wealth.
Traditionally, coral is the #1 accessory in this part of the world, enhancing and reviving tradition.
It's a traditional bead. Without the beads, there is no Benin.
Coral bead is as old as the Benin tradition. Apart from the aestheticism that it gives, the reverence which we give to the Oba.
It comes in red and white colors and different sizes and shapes, and of course, prices. Other than an occasion such as the coronation of an Oba of Benin, the best option for powerful traditional Nigerian look is oftentimes with coral beads, sometimes combined with gold jewelry for enhancements. History has it that the Oba's divine right to rule is reiterated in his regalia, with his royal crowns, shirts, aprons, necklaces, and accessories, including his shoes.
The coral beaded dress that is never worn by a slave. And beyond that one, you have a host of other items, coral, ivories, brass, that constitute part of the Oba's regalia.
The paraphernalia, as you see, that are attached to his costume, majority of them are not just worn for the fun of it. Majority of them, they have significance.
It signifies happy mood, cultural identity of those who use it, like the Benin.
Apart from the sacred power, the coral, brass, and ivory used in the Benin royal arts are endowed with. These items express greater worth of his kingdom. Coral beads are not just ornamental, but believed to have effective power to cause any vow or cause to come to pass. And in this circumstance, wearing of coral beads is a crucial component of what gives an Oba divine powers. Made from sea plants, every Benin citizen is expected to be adorned in the red-colored beads, according to the tradition, after the discontinuation of the white ones used during the mourning period of the transited Oba. Little wonder, the city is painted in coral color. In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NTA News.
After about 3 years of abandonment, contractors handling federal road projects across the country are back on site. This follows the payment made to them by the present administration. In this report, Works and Housing correspondent Mohammed Hamza Sheikh takes a look at the multiplier effect of paying road project contractors.
Road infrastructure occupies a critical importance in building solid foundation for economic growth, accelerate economic development, and attract direct foreign investment. It is against this backdrop, perhaps, that the Buhari administration took up the challenge of remobilizing road project contractors back to site, which they abandoned for close to 3 years due to non-payment. In different parts of the country, road projects are now seen going on progressively. The decision by the federal government to prioritize the provision of infrastructure is seen by especially economists as a multiple strategy, which apart from providing the roads also opens up job opportunities for both skilled and unskilled workforce.
This road is 100 kilometers road. There are several villages and communities, and our policy is that wherever section we go, we usually employ the people from that community so that they will get fair share of the employment.
We are privileged to use manual labor for tourism. One, because we are far away from the base. Second, the quantity of concrete to be casted is not that much. And third, we have employed people from the area.
The project is being run by the Nigerian local staffs, supervised by the Chinese.
Direct and indirect, we have almost over 1,400 people. They are working under the company now.
Petty trading is one other significant activity that takes place at project sites. Food and drink vendors as well as other petty traders now find new markets at project sites.
Yeah, they get too much, man. And if I buy something like 1,000 own, I will get my own, even 500, 600.
I will go to the market and they will give me credit and I will give them. Then after the payment, at the site here, they will pay me cash. Even though they are going to Maiduguri, I will follow them.
The springing up of petty businesses, especially at construction sites like this, is only seen when projects are ongoing. And projects can only be ongoing when contractors are paid, because it is from what they are paid that trickles down to the vendors through the workforce of the projects. Now, this is what is called the multiplier effect in economics. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
Mina Suleja Road in Niger State, which is a major link between the western part of the country to the FCT and the north, may soon be rendered impassable due to the deplorable condition. Momso Damian Dati, who monitored the dark spot on the route, reports that commuters are not only experiencing difficulties on the road, but also made susceptible to accidents.
and particularly the Federal Capital Territory. However, these roads have become death traps for motorists and commuters due to their deplorable condition marked by potholes. One of such roads is the Suleja-Minna Highway, which is about the busiest, witnessing heavy flow of private and commercial vehicles as well as articulated vehicles, which further degrade the road. In recent times, the heavy rains have compounded the problem, creating gridlocks and long hours of waiting for motorists and passengers with no form of comfort inside.
After jumping the gallop and the other thing, the car just got off. I spent almost 2 hours from the hurdle.
The hardship is too much. We are praying that federal government should come to our aid. For the past 16 years, nothing has been done on this road, which is bad.
If you are comparing somebody to hospital now, you have to stay here for almost an hour. If it is an emergency case, something terrible might have happened.
Now, this is the situation most commuters and motorists are compelled to go through as a result of the potholes and the bad portion of the road, where most of them have to wait for an hour or two until a particular section of the road is cleared before they can gain passage onto Abuja-Minna Road. The situation has also affected commercial activities along the terrain.
We lost about 500 tubers of yam because of accident.
Efforts by the Niger State government, which sank more than 400 million naira on the rehabilitation to make the road motorable, has only proven futile.
Ordinarily, the trip from Abuja to Minna is under 2 hours. Yesterday, some people spent 5 hours, some spent 7 hours. A lot of accidents, people's vehicles are breaking down. I also appeal to the federal government to look at this matter and conclude and finish this road once and for all.
Motorists now depend on good-spirited individuals who have taken it upon themselves to patch the road. In Minna, Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Minister of Environment Amina Mohammed says action-oriented efforts by all will enable Nigeria sustainably manage the nation's marine and coastal ecosystem towards reducing poverty, enhance food security and overall social-economic growth of the coastal communities. She said this at the opening ceremony of the National Consultative Meeting on Draft Additional Protocols to Aviation Convention in Abuja. Joseph Johnson reports.
The state of the environment is often a mirror of activities carried out on land, and such activities ranging from industrial and agricultural production to daily domestic routines affect the health of the ecosystem and the people that depend on it. Regardless of the fact that the Nigerian coastal and marine environment account for over 50% of Nigeria's economy, the ecosystem is plagued with problems such as pollution, global climate change, and others. Towards ameliorating these problems, environmental experts here are fine-tuning the draft protocols which will enable national action plans to be developed and implemented at the country level.
So please, experts, if we really mean what we say, the protocols that we produce, allow us to take the actions we need to destroy the ivory to send a signal, to ban the export and logging of wood when it is detrimental to my country and my people.
Each country can own those protocols and domesticate them, implement them, then there will be a contribution to save those assets and to adapt to climate change.
Regional and international partners will be expected to present key recommendations at the end of the two-day program. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the nomination of the Minister of Environment, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, to serve in the African Union Reform Steering Committee. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, indicates that the committee headed by President Paul Kagame of Rwanda is tasked with the ongoing institutional reforms of the AU Commission and its organs. The committee, which comprises eminent persons from the continent, will work on part-time basis to produce a report for presentation to the 28th African Union Summit in January 2017. Until her appointment as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, she was the Assistant Secretary and Special Advisor to the United Nations Secretary General on post-2015 development planning. And just ahead, reposing confidence in the capital market, and the federal government gives reassurance on fixing the economy. We'll bring you details when we return.
It's the Glow CAF Awards Silver Jubilee Edition, where the stars of football and entertainment come together to celebrate the Oscars of football. And we'd like you to join us. That's right. Glow is giving away 300 VIP invites to Africa's most prestigious football awards. To stand a chance to be selected, simply use 25,000 Naira on your Glow SIM between October 10th and 31st December 2016. It's that easy. There's only one place to be, January 5th, 2017, the Glow CAF Awards. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Taste the nectar of paradise. Chi exotic nectar in pineapple, coconut, multifruta and other exotic flavors. The taste will take you there. Chi exotic nectar is key to paradise.
House of Chi. Chai, I go enter one chance. Which kind of wahala be this? You sef, you not sabi the correct wazo milk.
Hollandia Eva, wazo back, shikini money, yeah. Wazo, Milky Way demo. Wazo, shikini money for more. Wazo, Milky Way demo. Shikini money for more. Milky Way making sense. Shikini money. Naija, no let your wazo enter one chance. Choose Hollandia Eva, shikini money, more milk.
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty?
Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See, heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Feel the tasty, refreshing goodness of Chi Iced Tea. Chi Iced Tea, made from premium natural tea leaves. With delicious fruity flavors. Chi Iced Tea. Drink positive. Come over to the tea side of life.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. It's still News Extra. Capital market players suggest ways of rebuilding confidence in the capital market. These and more with Abdullahi Mohammed on our Business News.
Good to have you join us on Business Now. Analysts agree that the Nigerian Stock Exchange market capitalization indices to the GDP is still very low. This means that the major drivers of the market are still not fully represented. In view of these, capital market operators emphasized the need for retail investors to take advantage of the existing low valuation of equities and invest on the capital market.
Currently, valuations are attractive. They're extremely attractive. And we're talking of decent companies. We're talking of, at least without promoting any securities, I'm talking of top-notch banks that are trading at PE of 4. And let me break it down, especially to them. When I say PE of 4, what it means is that when a company has a PE of 4, like I said, is that when you invest in that company, it takes you about 4 years to recoup your investment, given if the company sustain their level of earnings.
We as operators have a lot of role to play in that regard. We have role to play with regards to advising our clients properly. We have also roles to play in ensuring that we play by the rules.
The capital market operators also pointed out that the market has been repositioned as a world-class investment hub.
The laxity that happened many years ago cannot happen now. What a lot of people do not know, though, is that those changes have occurred. So a lot of people not following up with the market don't know how much action that the regulators have taken.
And that's business news. Thanks for being part of it. News Extra continues shortly.
And still talking business, the federal government has assured that recommendation at the just concluded Nigerian Economic Summit will be absorbed into the scheme of affairs to entrench a robust income drive in the Nigerian economy. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, who represented the president at the closing of a summit, said the federal government is committed to fixing the Nigerian problem and will pursue the quest vigorously. Liakatun Babatunde has more details.
3 days of brainstorming in active pursuit of the way forward for the Nigerian economy by both the public and private sectors. The Nigerian Economic Summit came up with a communique afterwards.
A stable business environment. These are not sufficient to generate the required momentum to turn the wheel of Made in Nigeria. Additional resolve and rigorous execution are required in other areas.
Key outcomes were documented into a report with a roadmap of relevant actions to make Made in Nigeria a lasting success story and presented to the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari.
What we need to do as government is to engage more, to communicate more, so that we can get the necessary support. Because in order to solve these problems, we have to work together.
The summit emphasized the strong need for execution and proper measurement of results in the part of all stakeholders. In Abuja, Liakatun Babatunde, NTA News.
The 2017 health budget should be open and focus on procurement of equipment, training and skilled personnel, rather than construction of buildings and purchase of official vehicles. This from part of submissions of participants after training on approaches and strategies towards a robust budget health. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju reports that it was at the instance of the Development Research and Project Center and partners.
Parts of the Abuja Declaration in 2001 by heads of state and government of the AU is the allocation of at least 15% of a nation's budget to health, so as to address some pressing challenges in the health sector. Investigation, however, reveals that Nigeria's annual contribution from 2006 to date has not exceeded 6.10% of its annual budget, a situation that has led to inadequate funding of the sector and poor healthcare service delivery.
In order for the Nigerian health system to achieve the results that we want to see and that the people want to see, we must do things differently. But all of us, the executive, the civil servants and also the legislators.
We just completed a retreat session, and we've been able to put a number of plans together, which we think will eventually put before our governors to help to guide them in enhancing allocation for health.
Given the competitive nature of all the sector and non-availability of government funds, interested groups are advised to start thinking of innovative ways for fund, engage in vigorous advocacy, and ensure relevant partners are carried along.
Reducing your cost, not those of your health programs, but outside of, for example, health ministry in the state, you could find that if you reduce costs in other areas that are not as have a priority as health, you could now redistribute the money saved in those other ministries back to health program.
If you want to achieve health for all, then budget is very important. Funding is very critical.
Strengthening of the primary health care by bringing it under one roof, and provision of universal health coverage to all, as well as quick implementation of the National Health Act, featured prominently in the discourse. About 59% of health financing in Nigeria is said to come from out-of-pocket spending by individual or family, a situation participants at this gathering said is unacceptable. They therefore call for a comprehensive health insurance for all Nigerians. From the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru in Jos, Rashidat Mustafa Olabuju, NTA News.
A three-day international conference on clinical chemists and laboratory scientists has opened in Lagos. Jane Ojuka reports that the forum provides participants with an opportunity to update their knowledge and skills as they network with international experts.
Clinical chemistry and diagnosis experts say is crucial to healthcare delivery, as wrong diagnosis could present grievous implications to a patient. As important as this element of healthcare delivery is, it is sad to note that Nigeria, just as many developing countries of the world, is still grappling with numerous challenges militating against sustainable clinical practice. The three-day biennial scientific international conference of clinical chemists will x-ray the numerous challenges which include poor funding, brain drain, lack of equipment, and most importantly, the absence of national quality assurance system. This is with a view to profiling a lasting solution to them.
We have invited experienced experts from all over the world to give the professionals here a sort of update their knowledge and develop skill.
The methods we are using, the quality assurance, the techniques that we are using, the modernization of the techniques, the use of correct equipment so as to get correct delivery.
The theme of the conference is towards a sustainable clinical chemistry practice in developing nations.
What we can do as a federation, we may help in education, in training people, in write guidelines for improving the quality in laboratory medicine, to set up internal quality control, external quality control.
If the laboratories aren't right, then a lot of clinical decisions will be wrong. So laboratories need to be brought to a very high quality standard.
The conference drew participants from across the country, Africa and beyond. In Lagos, Jane Ojuku, NTA News.
We'll take another break now, and when we return, we'll bring you more reports on News Extra. Stay with us.
If we have lost the opportunity of 15 years, let us no longer lose any opportunity for the future. Our alternative is agriculture immediately and solid minerals.
We should be appreciative of the president who has again diverted attention to this issue of agriculture.
The present administration is determined to go back to planning, identify priorities beforehand. When money comes, it is applied to that purpose. And you can see the results.
We are determined to rehabilitate our country especially for our children and our grandchildren.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining, clean, and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the
Harpic all-in-one challenge.
Does your antiseptic liquid kill the germs that cause flu, diarrhea, typhoid? Dettol does. Dettol provides 10 times more protection versus leading competition. So why take a risk with your loved ones?
Dettol Mom. She only trusts Dettol antiseptic liquid to kill 100 illness-causing germs, and it's recommended for cuts and scrapes. Worry less and love more. Don't just be any mom, be a Dettol mom. Dettol, be 100% sure.
The production, distribution and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Thank you for being there. The budding of unpaid household chores, gender disparities as a result of gender stereotype beliefs are some of the issues that centered discussions as Nigeria joined the rest of the world to mark the 2016 International Day of the Girl Child. Azamta Onwegbula takes a look at the way forward for the girl child with the theme, Girls Progress, Goals Progress, a global girl data movement.
Analysis by UNICEF says almost every girl child globally is subjected to various household chores. In most cases where the parents are not available, the girl child takes the place of the mother taking care of the home. And that the girl child of between 5 to 14 years old spend 40% more time on housework as against her male counterparts. This sometimes denies them proper nutrition, access to quality education, and oftentimes expose them to sexual abuse. The 11th October every year is set aside globally to focus on tackling some of these challenges.
A male school teacher and he touches your bum or he tries to brush your breast, please immediately show that you do not like it.
A principal raping a child in school, and instead of the case being taken up, you just see the person being transferred to another school.
It is therefore necessary for us, the stakeholders, to build consensus on the need to invest in the girls as a way of closing the gender gaps in education in Nigeria.
For the students, the celebration exposes them to some tips to safety against rape.
That girls should be
careful when there is something that they should always tell their parents or guardians what is wrong with them.
I advise the parents to put their girl child to school so that they can learn and be the leader of tomorrow, so that they'll be important both in society and at home as well.
In Abuja, Azamta Onwebule, NTA News.
Now, as a mark of support to the federal government in its drive to drive the nation out of economic recession, the Buhari Friends Organization has organized its 6th prayer summit for God's intervention in Nigeria. Olajide Bello reports.
As we gather to pray today, may you heal Nigeria. May you deliver our nation.
The interfaith prayers set the ball rolling for the 6th prayer summit, calling for God's intervention in Nigeria's present economic recession. Special prayers were also offered for President Muhammadu Buhari to sail the Nigerian ship to enviable heights. National Coordinator, Buhari Friends Organization of Nigeria, Athanasius Okun, used the summit to commend the president's dogged fight against corruption and called for a reform in the judiciary.
And the moment the judiciary actually join hand to complement government executive, the issue of fighting corruption will get the end, because it's the judiciary that give punishment to offenders. And a society that want to succeed, there are two factors: punishment and reward. Punishment for doing wrong things, then reward for doing good things. Until we observe these two factors, we cannot move anywhere in the community of good nations.
He stressed that for proper implementation of government policies to be felt in all strata, emphasis should be placed on local production and patronage of made-in-Nigeria products. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
It's time now for us to take our last commercial break for tonight. When we return, we've got a bit of a global sing and sports, so stay with us.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Hafiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. On Global Tidbit tonight, South Sudan president makes public appearance to debunk death rumor. Let's get more details from our correspondent, Ronke Kolawole.
In Ghana, fuel price may likely go up as the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers forecast the possibility of 7 to 13% adjustment beginning from October 16, owing to what it called the cuts in OPEC production levels, which it says has taken its toll on world price indexes. News from Burundi says the country may now pull out of the International Criminal Court as lawmakers voted to endorse a decision taken by the cabinet last week to cut ties with the Hague-based court. And now, the main suspect in the 2015 Islamist attacks that killed 130 people in Paris, Salah Abdeslam, may be abandoned by his lawyers as he continued to keep mute. Abdeslam was arrested in Brussels in March and has kept silent since his transfer to Paris in April. In Indonesia, government will now apply minimum sentencing and execution for convicted pedophiles as the parliament passes law